Welcome back to Culture Corner Review for culture news, reviews, and everything in between. Let's get it.
Black businesses are moving into malls and making big money.
We did over $1 million in sales.
It was really blood, sweat, and tears, and I was proud of it.
But the Shade Room spoke to several black business owners who say that as they became more successful, their malls are now kicking them out, terminating their leases without warning. Is it racism or is something else going on? I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. Atalia Talley was only in her new store for about 8 months. She sold clothes and beauty products for women at the Southpark Mall. It's right near Richmond, Virginia. She says that on Christmas Eve, the mall manager stormed into her store with a lease termination notice. And when she asked why, she could not believe what he said next.
He said, "You can't tie Santa up. You can't tie Santa with a rope."
These were the Christmas banners that Talley says that she had displayed in her store. She says that it was a holiday campaign featuring Santa Claus and a group of models. One banner said, quote, "the nice list." The other banner said, quote, "the naughty list," with Santa Claus tied up with Christmas ribbon.
I went with naughty or nice. That's a common theme when you think about Christmas.
She says that the banners were up for weeks, but on Christmas Eve, the mall manager, Greg Byastock, handed her a large envelope and left.
And I read maybe the first 2 lines where it states that my lease was being terminated. I don't even think I finished the letter before I just kind of closed my gate and ran out the back.
She says she approached him about it.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't have to talk about it. This is what I said. It's final.
Here's the lease termination agreement. Nowhere does it state a specific reason why. She was given less than a full week to vacate.
Does your lease say anything about pictures that may be offensive?
No, I've never had any written warnings. It's not in my lease or contract about photography. I said, "Well, can I take the pictures down?" "No, it's already done." Then he said, "We can sue you for defamation of character." And I was like, huh? I literally had to just break it apart. A lot of stuff we couldn't save. I had to trash, I had to get rid of. We had to break down just to get out.
She called India Miles, a black journalist in the area who started investigating.
This is the second business that has been asked to leave the mall under these pretenses. And that's why I have to assume that the community is so outraged.
Truth be told, I'm the most hurt out of everybody.
There was community outrage last year when Mike Phillips, owner of Sir Castle Teas in Durham, North Carolina, went viral. He says that he made over $1 million in a short 6 months selling specialty sneakers and custom clothing and accessories.
We had no issues, no problems. We paid our rent on time. We were one of the most popular stores in the mall.
But he was told by management at the South Point Mall that he had to close. The news came after a shooting occurred inside the mall on Black Friday 2021, but the shooting was nowhere near his store. It was 25 stores away, he says, near a Foot Locker.
Fast forward a month and 2 days later, around the 27th of December, we received a letter saying that they were looking to go a different direction. They said, "Well, we have too many sneaker stores, but I'm not listed as a sneaker store on you guys' mall directly. You guys has me as a specialty store."
Do you think it's because of your race or the clients that you bring to the mall? Do they not want this type of client? What do you think it is?
I feel like if the shooting on Black Friday never occurred, I wouldn't be in this situation. But once the news picked it up and everybody else picked it up, they took a couple steps back. It was like, all right, okay, maybe we're in the wrong.
He says that the mall did make some promises to relocate him, but a year has gone by and that has not happened. We did go through his lease agreement and it is spelled out that it is a short-term lease and, quote, revocable at will and without cause. We reached out to Brookfield Properties, who owns the South Point Mall. They told us they'd look into it with their leasing agents. We're still waiting for a response. But in a statement to Spectrum News last year, they said, quote, all short-term licenses permit termination, and termination is not uncommon for these types of agreements. It is our company policy not to comment on licensees or even tenants. We are aware that there has been speculation about the reason for the termination, but unfortunately are not able to publicly discuss the circumstances that led to this decision, even on background or off the record.
It just tells me that they don't want black people in the mall.
It happened to Kendron Haggerty too. His popular sneaker store called Agenda in the Galleria Mall in Houston was a big attraction even for celebrities, but he was forced out last fall. He figured out why.
We always get moved. The temporary leases get moved, but they said, oh, we got one more thing to tell you. You can't sell shoes. And I'm like, man, that's 60% of my business. How do you expect me to survive? And they just was like, oh, well, the deal is already done and deal with it.
He says that malls are selling short-term leases, often to small business owners, to fill space until a bigger long-term store comes in. He says the Galleria offered him a spot in a dead zone of the mall and told him that he could no longer sell sneakers. He asked to be moved to a better location.
And their wording was, we don't want any urban stores, but in layman's terms, you know what that means.
A spokesperson from the Galleria told the Houston Chronicle back then, quote, the tenant has been in the center for 4 years, and 6 months ago he negotiated and signed a new temporary lease agreement, agreeing to relocate, and in return received a significant reduction in rent. We are operating under the terms of that mutually agreed to and signed contract and expect our tenant to do so as well. Any insinuation that we acted in a discriminatory manner is baseless and totally unfounded. This is not how we operate, and we flatly reject the assertion. End quote. But Haggerty says that he was forced to sign a new agreement without knowing what was happening.
A couple of years ago, this wasn't a big deal. This was like, oh, okay, you want to sell shoes and clothes? Fine. But as the sneaker industry is $1 billion industry now, you have big corporations and investors that want to get into it now, who didn't believe it at first.
We did get a response from CBL Properties, the owners of Southpark Mall, where the general manager kicked out Italia Talley over her Christmas banners. We wanted to know why a successful black business owner and paying tenant was abruptly moved. We got a statement from their spokesperson, Stacy Keating, who says, quote, that while we do not typically comment on tenant matters, we felt that it was important to address the conversation around this situation. After learning about the termination, we began a review of the events and are continuing to examine the matter and will take appropriate action if necessary. We regret the situation occurred and have reached out to Ms. Talley and have offered an alternative resolution. We value the diversity of the tenants in our properties as well as the diverse perspectives, backgrounds, and experiences that we derive from our team, our retailers, and our customers. We do not tolerate any form of discrimination and take any suggestion of such seriously. Talley says that she was offered to return to the Southpark Mall, but she's not sure right now. She spent a lot of money tearing it all down. So right now she says she's just trying to figure it all out. For TSR Investigates, I'm Justin Carter.
That's it for this Culture Corner review. Remember, life is too short for anything but love. Bless up.